Hi, it's me, Patrice Horsley again, and I'm giving you my book recommendations, a series of books each month that have informed my practice as a storyteller and narrative consultant. And the next two recommendations, this one and the one next month, are to do with books that help you with your storytelling. um, are really, really interesting. And the first one I want to share, look, I'm looking at them like this. I'm going to choose this one, is Houston. We Have a Narrative, and it's by Randy Olson. Um, Subtitle, Why Science Needs Story. And it was actually on the table of a friend of mine, Dr. Lucy Rogers, who is an engineer. And she does a whole series of training specifically for engineers so that they can better communicate engineering and why engineering and how engineering in a way that is passionate and engaging and promotes curiosity and interest. So I was very curious. And I must say, it's been one of the most useful books for me when it comes to enabling people, certainly to give presentations. He was a scientist and then he went on to become involved in filmmaking and realized that the skills he learned in filmmaking, in the telling of stories within the film industry, were actually needed more back in the science camp. So he went back, and that's where he has made his career. He's a tenured professor of marine biology, and that's what he was before moving to Hollywood and entering film school. He's written and directed a number of films, including the acclaimed Flock of Dodos. I say I haven't heard of that. Author of numerous successful books, including Don't Be Such a Scientist. One of the most useful things that I got from this was this idea that when we put forward science papers, a narrative form is used. But a lot of scientists wouldn't recognize that. But there is a beginning, and then there's like the justification and proposal put forward in the middle, and there is an end, a conclusion. And lots of people would not realize that they're working with story. But in fact, they are, whether they are scientists or engineers or people who might see themselves as very logical, left brain, sequential. We often use stories without realizing it. And the biggest tip, the biggest takeaway I got from this book was how you can create tiny narrative arcs of interest within your presentations and deliveries through using three simple words. And I've spoken about this in some of my previous YouTube videos. And the three words are and, but, and so. And if you don't know what a narrative arc is, a narrative arc is like you have the beginning of a story and then you build it up a little bit. You have this kind of conflict and then you come down the other side into a resolution. The same happens with and, but, and so, because it goes a little bit like this. You could say, in a presentation, I was a play worker and then I got interested in stories and I went on to become a storyteller and it's almost like a list of bullet points, very little narrative arcing and points of interest. However, if you say, and I was a play worker, but that is like a tipping point for people. They go, oh, but what? They want to find out what happens next. But I became involved in stories. And so I went on to implement storytelling in the work that I did and moved to Ghana. But what? But found the power of stories was far greater than I had imagined. So this and, but, and so creates these tiny ripples and waves of interest throughout presentations and deliveries. So it's got some really handy tips. I would recommend that you read it, whether you're a scientist or not. If you are helping people communicate more effectively, this is a really good book to have in your toolbox. Please drop me a line or leave a comment to tell me whether you found it useful. And if you've got any book suggestions too, that would be great. Take care for now and have a lovely day or evening wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.